Matt in Omaha, Nebraska. Hey, Matt, what's on your mind today?
Hey, good to talk with you. I had a question for you, but to kind of answer what you asked there before the break about, the big picture and how this is going to affect. I mean, honestly, I'm watching this and I'm learning not to assume anything because nothing is normal anymore. And I honestly think they're willing to go through this impeachment and everything else if it brings Joe Biden down just a couple notches in the process. And that's what my question is for you is I'm curious, with watching Mitch McConnell and how they handled the Supreme Court nomination under Obama and how they just didn't even take it up as a vote, is there any way in the Senate that they could maybe not avoid the vote altogether, but just delay it, or any sort of loopholes or odd things they could do to just prevent having to take up the trial and just delay it past the election or something like that? I can't put anything past Mitch McConnell and the Republicans anymore.
Right, after he did that same thing with Merrick Garland.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think that public opinion would allow it, and Mitch McConnell is fairly well tuned to that. He knows what he can get away with and what he can't, which is why he's still in power, although Amy McGrath is going to give him a hell of a run for his money in this next election in Kentucky. And if you haven't seen her ads or her website or, send her $5, you might want to check it out. That's probably the best hope for the future of our nation, is if Amy McGrath can beat Mitch McConnell in the election in 2020. But I think the strategy, and it's becoming fairly obvious now, particularly every time the Republicans have an opportunity to talk about Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. The strategy is fairly simple. It's the Hillary Clinton email strategy or the Hillary Clinton Benghazi strategy. It's like you pick one weakness of your opponent, even if it's not a legitimate weakness. You can create it. You can, I mean, this is back. I played the clip yesterday of FDR saying, this is Hitler's strategy, the big lie. And so you pick one weakness, and then you hammer on it over and over and over again. In fact, it's probably worth listening to FDR talk about this, because this is exactly how Donald Trump thinks and the Republicans think they're going to win the election, is they're going to take this one thing. Joe Biden's son got a job in Ukraine. At the same time, Joe Biden was trying to get this prosecutor who was supposed to be, ferreting out corruption, although he wasn't. He was corrupt himself, fired. But this is FDR talking about this, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, back in the late 30s.
Remember, a number of years ago, there was a book, Mein Kampf, written by Hitler himself. The technique was all set out in Hitler's book, and it was copied by the aggressors of Italy and Japan. According to that technique, you should never use a small falsehood, always a big one, for its very fantastic nature would make it more credible. If only you keep repeating it over and over and over again.
There you go. That's what they're going to do, Matt.
I'm a progressive here in Omaha, surrounded by red, and I talk to a lot of people who are on the other side of this. And even if they don't support Trump, they still don't accept everything that he's done through the impeachment proceedings and the Mueller report, as anything valid. And I guess if the public opinion so far hasn't changed, and let's say it doesn't change to motivate McConnell to go through with the trial, is there anything legally that forces him in the Constitution to take up the trial at a certain point, or could he just delay it and delay it and delay it?
Technically, he could, just like he did the nomination of Merrick Garland, but I just don't think he could get away with it. And the Republicans in the Senate have some say in this, but with 51 votes, they're going to, whoever ends up with a 51 vote majority, and right now the Republicans have that in the Senate, will be able to establish the rules by which the Senate will conduct the impeachment inquiry, or the trial, rather. And, they could even write those rules so that Mitch McConnell can overrule John Roberts. Even though the Constitution says that the Chief Justice shall preside, it doesn't define what preside means, or what powers he has, or what authority he has, or how he conducts himself. So when this gets to the Senate, it's going to get real interesting. And Donald Trump very much wants a big show trial, because he wants to use this as a forum to trash Joe Biden. He's convinced Biden's going to be the Democratic nominee, and he's got to dirty him up as much as he can, as fast as he can. And McConnell seems to be pushing back, saying he just wants to get this thing over and done with quickly. I think that McConnell doesn't like a lot of spotlight on, what he's not doing in the Senate.